everyone. Welcome to Your Drone Questions Answered. I am David Young, founder of Drone Launch Academy, and I want to welcome you to this new show. The whole point of this show is to answer your drone questions. So it's going to be a weekly series where we take the questions that you submit on yourdronequestionsanswered.com. We take those questions and then we go out and we find the best experts we can find in the industry to answer those questions for you. We interview them, we record a discussion, 10 to 15 minutes, and then we post those answers online, on YouTube, on podcast platforms. We write a blog post associated with it to go on our website to explain in a little bit more depth. But the whole goal of this is to allow you to connect with some of the best minds in the industry to get their thoughts on your questions. How does it work? So you go to yourdronequestionsanswered.com, or just for short, because that's kind of long to type in, you can go to YDQA.io. That stands for Your Drone Questions Answered, and then .io. And that will take you to a website where you can either leave a voicemail up to 60 seconds telling us what your question is, or if you prefer to do something in just written form, you can just type out a question for us, and it goes into our central database of questions that we will check weekly, and then we schedule shows based on those questions, find the experts, interview them, and that's how your questions will get out into the world. We have another podcast called Drone to 1K, where all we do is interview drone entrepreneurs about their story of how they started their business and became successful. We've got people who are doing multiple six figures all the way down to people who are just making $1,000 a month, to give you a good perspective. And that was great for those of you who maybe want to launch your own drone service companies or interested in the entrepreneurial side of things. But we wanted to have some content and a show for everyone who's interested in drones, whether they work for a construction company, or maybe they're a recreational flyer, or maybe they're trying to talk to their boss about it and they work for a video production company. I don't know. There's so many different varieties of ways that you can use drones that we didn't want to limit it to just the entrepreneurial perspective, and we wanted to be able to get a lot of different views on a lot of different topics and niches where drones are being used. So I am the one who hosts the Drone to 1K podcast, but for this show, it's going to be a weekly show. I'll be doing the first few episodes, and then I'll be introducing you to a new host that you're going to see more of, and some other drone launch faces that you may be familiar with. Me, Dusty, who's our Drone Launch Connect community manager, may host some shows here and there, but you're going to see some different faces on this to introduce you to more of the drone launch team. So a little bit about Drone Launch Academy. If you have no idea who we are, maybe you stumbled across this podcast on the internet, or maybe you got here from a friend, we are a drone education company. So we started off with a test prep course called our Part 107 video prep course that prepares people to take and pass the FAA exam you need to take to become a commercial drone pilot, commercial drone operator. It's called Remote Pilot Certificate is what you get. Technically, it's called the Unmanned Aircraft General Exam, but people typically refer to it as the Part 107 exam. So we have a prep course for that. We expanded into other courses like drone cinematography, roof inspections, mapping and modeling with your drone. We have a Drone to 1K program about starting your own drone service business. And we also have a newer course called Real Estate Media Pro, teaching you how to do everything you need to do to shoot and edit photos, videos, 3D tours, and floor plans for real estate agents, or if you are a real estate agent, for your own listings. And we have our Drone Launch Connect community, where you can go to connect with other pilots, get discounts from drone vendors that are exclusive, even like DJI drones and some other ones. We can use some of our connections to get you some deals there. We've got mini courses in there, workshops happening all the time, bi-weekly, expert Q&A where you get to do a Zoom with experts in different industries. So a lot of fun stuff going on there. So if you want to check that out, feel free to check all that out at dronelaunchacademy.com. And if you're listening to this podcast, but you may prefer to watch it, we're going to be publishing all of these videos and all these podcasts on YouTube, and you should be able to see them on Spotify video podcasts as well. So that's an option for you. Otherwise, it'll be on all audio platforms, and we'll have it on our website. You also might want to jump on our email list, because we're going to send a condensed version of this interview, the lessons learned, what was talked about, all those tips, in a Drone Tip Tuesday email. So every Tuesday, you're going to get some type of drone tip based on a question that someone has asked and based on the interview that we did with that expert. So if you want to sign up for that, you can also find that at dronelaunchacademy.com. Pumped to have that. And as always with our podcast, we love to give our listeners t-shirts. So if you're listening to this podcast, you really like it, or maybe you hate it, I don't care. If you take the time to go leave a review on Apple Podcasts or one of the podcast platforms, you screenshot it and you send it to support@DroneLaunchAcademy.com. We will send you a t-shirt as a thank you for taking the time to leave us a review. Not trying to bribe you to leave us a good review. If you really don't like it, that's fine. Just rate it what you think it deserves. We always love good feedback, but we want to thank you for taking the time to do that for us. And I think we'll try to get some YDQA or Your Drone Questions Answered t-shirts out there. We also have Drone Launch Academy t-shirts if you prefer those. So we just want to incentivize you to get out there and leave us some feedback and some comments. It helps us a lot know how to improve, and it helps the show a lot in allowing other people to find it to get their drone questions answered. We're going to be publishing new episodes every Tuesday, so check back, and again, get on our email list if you want to see the condensed version in email form. But every Tuesday, coming out with a new episode of Your Drone Questions Answered. If you want your drone question to be on the show, head over to YDQA.io or yourdronequestionsanswered.com. They go to the same place. Leave your question, and we will get to them as soon as we can, and maybe your question will be featured on this show. So I'm so excited to see what happens with it. Thank you so much for checking it out. I hope you find it enjoyable to listen to, and I hope it helps you out on your drone journey. So I'll see you in the air.